Okay. Greetings, everyone. Everyone here is muted. We will take questions at the end of Jean Cabel's statement. My name is Mike Coolidge. I'm the spokesman for People Who Play by the Rules PAC. Governor JB Pritzker released an ad last night, didn't do a press release about it as far as we can tell. It's not available on his YouTube channel yet, but it was broadcast on television stations, and it attacked the person and the character of Jean Cabel, which we will hear from here shortly. I first want to play for you all the ad in question. First, this is the 30-second ad that we ran, People Who Play by the Rules PAC, from Jean Cabel.
My uncle was a sergeant in the Chicago Police Department. He was with a patrol officer, Anthony Rosado, and on the evening of July 17, 1970, they were assassinated.
For decades, Jean had the support of governors of both parties to keep her uncle's killer behind bars, until JB Pritzker.
We did not get any letters whatsoever from Governor Pritzker opposing parole. My message to the governor would be shame on you.
That ad is 100% accurate. However, JB Pritzker released this ad last night.
A viral snowstorm of misinformation online. Fake newspapers spreading lies to Illinois voters. Darren Bailey and his allies incessantly spreading myths and obvious falsehoods. And now, this outrageous TV ad that should insult us all. The truth is, the governor can't parole anyone. The ad is 100% false. An entire campaign trying to scare you. Darren Bailey, all lies, no solutions.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you now Jean Cabel.
Hi, good afternoon. I made a statement and I'd like to read it if you would be so polite as to hear me out. I find myself in a very uncomfortable position. I find myself in the position to defend myself against a false accusation from a political ad. The truth is that Governor Pritzker is directly responsible for the composition and integrity of his prisoner review board. As a family member of a Chicago police officer who was killed in the line of duty in 1970, I have spent my entire adult life maintaining his honor and working tirelessly alongside with both families to keep two convicted cop killers in prison. My family and the family of Anthony Rosado have been fighting this horrific battle for 40 years. My recent involvement in a political ad only stated that truth. The family of Jim Severin and Tony Rosado have been associated with 8 cooperative governors of the state of Illinois, all the way back to Governor Ogilvy. These governors understood what the judge was trying to say to future generations with a sentence of 100 to 300 years. This all stopped when JB Pritzker was put in office in 2019. And it especially hit home for our police families in the spring of 2021, when one of the 2 convicted murderers, Johnny Veal, was released from prison on a count of 8-4 for release. In addition, during that hearing, my cousin and I were berated by the new head of the Prisoner Review Board as she attempted to retry the facts of the case, even trying to convince me about her views on the trajectory of the bullets that entered my uncle's body and Tony's body, killing them on that field in 1970 at Cabrini Green. Never in the last 40 years have we ever received a vote for release that I'm aware of. Plus, these convicted murderers were given 2 to 3 year setbacks to spare our families the horror of reliving that day. At the time, the vote for release of Johnny Veal was taken. Over 50% of those appointees were unconfirmed by the Illinois Senate. Again, Governor Pritzker is directly responsible for the composition and integrity of the Illinois Parole Board. And he's not done with our family yet. Next May, if he is reelected, his prisoner review board will release the other convicted murderer, Clifford Knights. Because just this spring in 2022, the prisoner review board delayed his release until after the election. So another double cop killer is going to be released. So you have an ad attacking fallen police officers, family members, or any victims' families is appalling and so unethical. Don't you think our families have been through enough? Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. And I'm now going to unmute everyone. And I just admitted one additional reporter into the room. And everyone right now is unmuted. You just heard the statement from Jean Cabel, and we will now take questions.
Well, I guess I'll just ask Jean, if you could, what do you want voters to take away from the competing ads here?
Well, you know, I'm not a politician. I'm a retired scientist. And I think my point in doing the ad was that you had two Chicago police families that had the rug pulled out from underneath them. And it was something we had never seen in over 40 years of working with governors, mayors, parole boards. And I think it indicates a direction that I'm very uncomfortable with. It doesn't really reflect well on victims' rights. And that's what we've all been doing all along, is protecting victims. We're trying to.
I think one of the unfortunate things about this latest attack from JB Pritzker is this use and this constant use and this reusing of the phrase misinformation and disinformation. On the ad itself, he cites nothing when he says that the ad is 100% false, other than his own word, fact. This ad is 100% false. Doesn't provide any evidence, doesn't specifically say what in the ad is inaccurate. He just says that. So we just think he's getting desperate at this point. He is attacking again the family member of a slain police officer, and we do have a bit of news here too, kind of late breaking here. I just got word that one of the ads that JB Pritzker's campaign was trying to get stations to cease and desist, the Last Dance ad, is staying up. It was rejected. The cease and desist was rejected. So it's on this topic of ads, but not particularly on Jean's. But we just also find it very interesting that JB Pritzker doesn't have this ad in question up anywhere available online, but it's airing on television. Any other questions from the press before we conclude this press conference?
Do you know where it's airing, how many times it's aired, what markets, how big his ad buy is?
Nope. I just know that it aired on Tucker Carlson last night on the Fox News channel, which I have video of. So we know it's airing. And I know some people in the chat room here who are journalists have contacted me and said they had seen the ad as well on regular television. And by the way, I can play it again here real quick for, I know some people joined this late. It's 30 seconds. This is the ad that Pritzker bought, but is interestingly not making it available online anywhere.
A viral snowstorm of misinformation online. Fake newspapers spreading lies to Illinois voters. Darren Bailey and his allies incessantly spreading myths and obvious falsehoods. And now, this outrageous TV ad that should insult us all. The truth is, the governor can't parole anyone. The ad is 100% false.
Interesting that this citing is from a 2021 article about the governor not being able to parole anyone.
The ad is 100% false.
And then there's interestingly no citation underneath here. We're just taking his word for it, I guess, that the ad is 100% false. Well, if the governor says it is, I guess he must be right. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. Any other questions from anyone?
Michael, if you could, can you address the Tribune article about possible illegal coordination between the candidates and the Political Action Committee?
This is not what this press conference is about, but yes, I'll just repeat what was printed in it by the president of our PAC, Dan Proft. This 11th hour hit piece full of garbage accusations was prompted by some goofball lawyer trying to make a name for himself. That's the statement on that. Any other questions? Okay, well, we're going to wrap up this press conference. I thank you all for joining it. I believe we're going to try to make this available online later for consumption. And if anyone wants the ad, we have it and we can send it to you. And I know a number of you have as well. I believe Rich Miller posted it on Capital Facts too. I could be wrong though. I know he has it. I don't know if he posted it yet. So thank you everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your Friday. And Jean, thank you so much for everything you've been through and your statement.
You're welcome.
Thank you.